Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360. I'm Thelma Okoro. The Nigerian government says it has commenced the payment of 5,000 naira monthly to 1 million poor and vulnerable Nigerians. The amount was part of campaign promises made by the Buhari-led administration before they were elected into office. In a statement released by the Office of the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the payment was effected through the conditional cash transfer facility of the government's Social Investment Program (SIP). He added that the payment would be made in batches. The first batch, which commenced last week, will cover Borno, Kwara, Bauchi, Cross Rivers, Niger and Kogi states, as well as Oyo, Ogun and Ekiti states respectively. The National Bureau of Statistics says the Nigerian economy added over 180,000 in the third quarter of 2016. This is from the 155,444 jobs recorded in the previous quarter. NBS in its job creation report stated that in the third quarter of 2016, job generation rose to about 20.4%. According to the report from the formal sector recorded, it says that 49,000 jobs, representing a total of 26.5% share of new jobs in quarter 3, while the informal sector recorded a larger share of new jobs compared to the previous quarter. The NBS further stated that the economy needs to generate at least 2.6 million jobs annually to hold down the current unemployment rate in the country. The Nigerian government has condemned the killing of another Nigerian in South Africa. Tochukwu Nnadi, a Nigerian based in South Africa, was reportedly choked to death by the police in South Africa after he was arrested for allegedly selling drugs. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Abike Dabiru-Erewa, in a statement, described the killing of Tochukwu Nnadi as worrying and unacceptable to the people of Nigeria and the government. Dabiru-Erewa urged the South African government to ensure that justice prevails by carrying out investigation and bringing the culprit to book. According to the Nigerian government, the killing of Nnadi has brought to 20 the number of Nigerians killed in South Africa in 2016 alone. The movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta says it has lost confidence in the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari to broker peace in the Niger Delta region. The group, in a statement by its spokesman Jumo Gbomo, also accused the president of threatening the fragile peace in the region with public comments about the unrest while reneging on past agreements. MEND was one of the Niger Delta's largest militant groups until it signed up for a government amnesty program in 2009. The group had backed President Buhari in his 2015 presidential campaign and urged militants behind recent attacks on pipelines to pursue peace talks with the Nigerian government. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has disagreed with the Christian Association of Nigeria on the number of people killed in the southern Kaduna crisis. The Catholic Archdiocese of Kafanchan had alleged that the unrest in southern Kaduna state had claimed over 808 lives in 53 villages in the area. However, the police boss disagreed with the projected figure, though he refused to say how many people were killed or injured in the violence. Northern Nigeria in 2016 was plagued by a series of attacks by Fulani herdsmen, leading to the deaths of dozens of people. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has denied reports claiming that it was yet to submit its 2016 annual report to the National Assembly. The Commission, in a statement by its spokesman Wilson Uwujaren, described the claim as false and shocking. Uwujaren said the agency submitted the said report in line with its statutory obligation to do so by the end of last September. He added that the EFCC has never defaulted in submitting its annual reports to the National Assembly. The Nigerian government has disclosed it is combining more charges against some of the judges arrested and accused of corruption. Those under investigation are 2 Supreme Court judges, Sylvester Nguta and Iyang Okoro. Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, explained that the charges against Okoro and others were yet to be arraigned and were being strengthened based on new evidence. Malami said the Nigerian government was assembling its witnesses against the accused persons to ensure the speedy conclusion of the corruption cases. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has slammed claims of plastic rice being imported into the country. At a joint briefing with the Nigerian Customs Service, NAFDAC confirmed that the 40,000 bags of rice seized by the Customs Service was not plastic rice, but contaminated rice unfit for human consumption. It's still not clear where the seized bag of rice came from, but rice made from plastic pellets were found in China last year. There has been widespread panic in many parts of Nigeria following the disclosure that plastic rice had been imported into the country. Rice is a staple food eaten here in Nigeria. Nigeria Senate President Bukola Saraki has launched a contest to promote made-in-Nigeria products in the country. The contest, scheduled to run for 3 months, is aimed at showcasing the process and raw materials used in producing locally made goods here in the country. To participate in the contest, participants are to shoot a video of between 45 seconds to 3 minutes showcasing their product or service that is an alternative to imported goods. Now, manufacturers must utilize up to 70% of locally sourced raw materials to qualify as a made-in-Nigeria good or service. Saraki, in a statement, said the contest would identify the goods and products that would be matched with investors and government agencies. The Nigerian government has announced plans to temporarily shut down operations at the airport for 6 weeks in February and March for repairs on its runway. Minister of State for Aviation Hadi Sarika made the announcement, saying the decision was informed by safety and security concerns. The minister announced the choice of Kaduna International Airport as an alternative during the closure of the Abuja airport. However, the Niger state government has advised the federal government to make use of the Minna International Airport during the closure of the Abuja airport for proximity reasons.
Corruption not in my country.
That was a very good business.
Yeah.
The furniture you brought was very perfect.
But that's how we roll.
Because let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
Mbano. The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I don't do business like that now. Yeah.
Hey, that can give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
It is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
Now get out.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No,
You will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make not really add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Nigeria's Stock Exchange Shares Index fell by 6.47% to close at 26,874 points. This is compared with 28,642.25 points, which it opened in 2016. On the other hand, bonds and treasury bills were bullish as increased demand compressed yields across almost all tenors. At the currency market, the naira closed at 305 naira to the US dollar, while the local currency, however, closed at 490 naira to the US dollar at the parallel market, which is down over 45% year on year. The Central Bank of Nigeria has extended stamp duty collection to savings accounts in the country. The central bank said it had earlier directed deposit money banks to deduct 15 naira stamp duty on each deposit made into current accounts with a value of 1,000 naira and above in order to boost government revenues drive and in compliance with Stamp Duties Act. However, the CBN exempted savings accounts from the deduction of stamp duty. Oil prices hit 18-month highs on Tuesday, the first trading day of 2017. This was sustained by hopes that a deal between OPEC and non-OPEC members to cut down production, which kicked off on Sunday, would drain a global supply glut. Benchmark Brent crude jumped to a high of $58.37 per barrel, while U.S. crude hit an 18-month high of $55.24 per barrel. Non-OPEC Russia's oil production in December remained unchanged at 11.21 million barrels per day, near a 30-year high, but it was preparing to cut output in the first half of 2017. Suicide bombers attacked the main peacekeeping base in Somalia's capital, killing at least 3 Somali security officers. Islamist Al-Shabaab militants have claimed responsibility for the assault near Mogadishu's main airport, an area used by several embassies, aid groups and telecom companies. According to reports, one bomber drove a car into the checkpoint outside the headquarters of the African Union Peacekeeping Force, killing 3 Somali officers stationed in the base. Nearly 300 members of Somali's federal parliament were sworn in last week after elections and are expected to pick a new president in the country. Gambian security forces closed down 2 private radio stations based near the capital of the country. This comes as an escalating political crisis caused by President Yahya Jammeh's refusal to accept his election defeat threatens the peace of the country. Jammeh, who seized power in a 1994 coup, initially considered defeat to opposition rival Adama Barrow, but then called for fresh elections, drawing condemnation from local opponents and foreign powers. The veteran leader's refusal to step down from office has opened up the possibility of a military intervention by West African forces after the ECOWAS body said it was putting military forces on alert, a development Jammeh has described as a declaration of war on Gambia. Valencia Sporting Director Jesus Garcia Pitarch has confirmed they have held transfer talks with Chelsea's midfielder John Obi Mikel. Mikel, who is 29-year-old, has fallen out of favor at Stamford Bridge this season and is yet to make an appearance under Antonio Conte. Pitarch revealed that he engaged in negotiations with the defensive midfielder on Christmas Day and confirmed that the ball is firmly in his court with regards to ending his 10-year tenure with the Blues. Valencia is looking to reinforce its squad this month in a bid to turn their fortunes around. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has given the sum of over $237,000 to the 16 countries that would feature in January's AFCON in Gabon. The amount released is 50% of the total amount all participating teams will get from CAF. Each participating federation is expected to receive a total of $475,000 US. The money forms part of CAF's responsibility to ensure that participating teams at the Nations Cup get the funded account to participate in the competition. Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola says he's arriving at the end of his career and will not be coaching at the age of 65. The Spaniard, who was in charge of Barcelona and Bayern Munich before replacing Manuel Pellegrini at City last summer. Guardiola won 14 trophies in 4 years at Barcelona, including 3 La Liga titles and 2 Champions League titles. He took a year's break before joining Bayern Munich in 2013, leading the German team to 3 successive league titles, but missing out on the Champions League. Well, that's all we have at this hour. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.